YouTube. Welcome back to week 8 of Big Sur Marathon training. We're in my kitchen. It is a Tuesday morning. I had a 6-mile run this morning. I went out in my new Iraqi 7s, which I love. They're a model for people that overpronate. So if that's you, I would check them out. I did just cut my hair this morning. Eye mask's on and we're making pancakes. A perfect little morning, but seriously, having little built-in routines is something that is so important to me, and traveling is awesome, but I definitely started to miss my routines towards the end of the trip. So today is just like self-care mode, like doing every little thing, you know, recovery once again. I'm gonna sit in my Normatec boots. My legs were definitely fatigued by the end of my Paris trip. Tuesday's a reset. We're gonna get into the week. I'm gonna cook up some pancakes and we'll talk later. I make my pancakes, Simple Mills pancake mix, and then I add collagen to the batter as well as chia seeds. What else do I add? I don't know, you always can add like mix-ins. Follow the recipe for like water to flour ratio, but you can add adaptogens, you can add supplements to your pancakes to supercharge them. So I did that, and then I just added some chocolate chips, bananas, walnuts, maple syrup, Maldon salt, and I'm super hungry, so let's eat the pancakes. But surprisingly, maybe not surprisingly, but I do get a lot of questions whenever I post up with the pancakes, how they're made. And the answer is, unfortunately, I follow a mix. Oh, I also added some coconut yogurt on top. Cheers to gut health. Hi YouTube, welcome back to week 8 of training for the Big Sur Marathon. We are about to go out on a 7-mile speed workout. January 31st, last day of January. I feel like the month has literally been like 4 different years of my life, like so many different phases. I was home in Minnesota, got back here, went to Paris, just a lot has happened and I feel like it's been dragging on. So I'm very excited for February to come. I picked up the book for this video and I'm super excited to dive into it, so let's chat about the book. Also, a few of you guys have asked, like, could I do a book club? And I guess I could. I don't really know what that entails. Like, a few people have asked me that are like watching the YouTube videos. So I guess you could like read the books along with me. I don't really have the capacity in my life, like time-wise, to create some sort of like group chat or something to have a book club, but you are more than welcome to like read along with me. But I just wanted to address that. I love the idea of a book club. I just do not have the time, space, energy for all this. For people who don't know, like, I edit all my own content. I don't have a manager. I don't have an intern. I don't have an assistant. So between like CMOS girlies and then running like 4 platforms, it's just a lot of work for me, even though it just feels like I make silly little videos. It's a lot of work. So that being said, let's get into the book. For this video is called Present Shock. How I heard about this book was on a podcast. I think if you search the author's name, which is Douglas Rushkoff, you could probably find which episode. Like, you know how podcasts always have like authors that are going on like a book tour, and I feel like that's kind of how I learned about a lot of books. So this book is about technology and how it's collapsed this idea of life. I think in the podcast, or maybe I just heard this on the internet, we used to have like a room that you would go and sit down and like go on a desktop computer on, and that's where the internet would live. Now we walk around with this and the internet is everywhere. It used to be like the internet was a confined space. You're like me, you'd play Sims or you'd do other stuff like that. You would leave the room and the internet would cease to exist. Now there's so many blurred lines between what is real life and what is socials. You know, am I doing this for Instagram? Am I doing this for my own enjoyment? I don't think I've read anything on YouTube that has been about like the digital age or technology. So I think this will be a unique read to add to the series. I've been thinking about it a lot in terms of my own content creation. I think I mentioned in the last video, like I want to have better boundaries between what is work and not work, because it does bleed together, which I don't have a problem with. Like I love that I get to do what I love for work, even though I am like monetizing my existence, I suppose. Like it is kind of strange that if I'm going for a run, is that content or is that me going on a run? In my mind, it's me going for a run because I love running. I get to create content about it. I feel very privileged and lucky to be able to do it. But some people would view it the opposite of like everything I do has a work aspect tied to it. Like when I went to Paris, was that a work trip? No, that was a trip for me for fun. Did I film a lot of content? Absolutely. So I don't see it as a con. I love this job. Once again, I don't see myself doing content creation forever, so it's not going to be my whole life. But I think this book will give me some insight on like how to think about digital era versus like in-person interactions. That being said, I am so over the moon happy today. I had a call with a brand that I'm going to be working with in 2024, and it's just so exciting to have future things to look forward to. It's something that I've always dreamed of doing, and I think I've shared actually too much probably about it, so some of you guys already know. This brand. But we're doing something super cool and I'm just so excited to sort of think about what my life will be like in the future. Personal life is going well. I couldn't be happier. I feel like I'm beaming cheek to cheek. And I just have to remember, and I journaled this morning, that life always changes. You know, things are good, things are bad, but the only thing you can control is your own reaction to what happens to you. Like when bad stuff happens, how am I going to react? How am I going to respond? What am I going to put my energy into? What can I control? What can't I control? That's something I've definitely realized the past year is like, I can't control if other people like me. I can't control what happens to my family or my own health or this outcome or this, but I can really be present in the moment of like what I want to accomplish. And hopefully that will create this abundance in the world and I'll be able to go and do those things. I used to live in such a scarcity mindset about like everything. You know, if this person got a brand deal, that means I'm not going to get one. If this person has a relationship, I'm not going to get one. In reality, love is everywhere. Opportunities are everywhere. And I think it's just so much more of a healthy mindset to get into. I think I'm going to open one of my Sonny's Angels that I got from Paris. I already opened one of them, but I just got a second because, well, I got 3 actually. I got one for myself that I opened in Paris, one that I'm going to open now, I think, and then one that I'm going to give to a friend. But we are Sonny Angel pilled in this household now. We're also Snoopy pilled. Don't worry about that. But let's go run, and I'll talk to you when I pick up the camera next. Good morning, everyone. 12 miles ahead. It's a Saturday long run. We'll see where this run takes me. We'll see where it takes me mentally. Physically, I have like a rough idea where I want to go. Oh my God. One of my Sonny's Angels just fell off my shelf as I was recording this, and I looked down and all I saw was this. And I'm like, how did this just break? Did this just break like lightly falling on the floor? But wait, that's kind of sketchy. Can you change all their heads? Anyways, side tangent. 12 miles ahead. We'll see where my brain will wander on this run. I think that's a really fun part of long runs. What I'm reading for this video is great. It's really making me reflect on my own boundaries with social media. I think I've mentioned this in the past vlogs. Just as a creator, I'm thinking about, you know, how much social media not only rots my brain, but strategies I can implement to create a healthier balance with it, but also recognizing it is my job. Like I don't know, like I don't find myself scrolling on social media a lot because I have to be, you know, locked into post. I definitely do scroll on TikTok here and there, but I'm not really like scrolling on the explore page that often or just like seeking out content to giggle because I feel like I spend a lot of time there. Digital identities are weird. I mean, I can't really be a private person now. I guess if I deleted all of my social media and just fell off the face of the earth, that's a way I could seek privacy. But I didn't really think about ever creating a social media without my full name attached to it because I just started posting on the account that was like my account, and then that's how I grew. But now kind of looking back on it, or I guess I have a few friends that are social media creators and they only share their first name and they have full 9-to-5s, or maybe they don't, but they just want that aspect of privacy. And I definitely crave privacy a lot. I never talk about dating anymore. I feel like I can't share a lot of things that I am excited about. I delay when I post. I don't share anything near my apartment in New York City because I'm scared of stalkers. You know, all of us girls have that one guy we've almost filed a restraining order over. You can imagine with social media as a woman, that's definitely amplified for me. The book is great. I have about 100 pages left. After I finish this run, I'm gonna go to a coffee shop and read it. I've been really into decluttering. Just old sweatshirts, you know, old sports bras. Like I need to just order some new underwear. This is like so TMI for a YouTube video, but that's kind of what I've been up to this week. I reset my lettuce farmer. I have to open up a new bank account, I have to get my passport renewed. I have to get new contacts, new glasses, health insurance eventually. I turned 26 this year. I'm gonna be kicked off my mom's health insurance, which is super exciting. What a happy birthday gift to me. But yeah, haven't really filmed much this week just because I've been grinding and just doing miscellaneous tasks that I've put off, but I'm very happy that I've done the adult stuff. Running is feeling good. There's no notes. It's kind of boring. Therapist Mike's actually on paternity leave, so I haven't seen him in a while to like check in on the bod and stuff. I mentioned this before, but a lot of what we've been working on is my upper body. Like my rib cage is super like collapsed just because I'm 6 feet tall. I slouch a lot. So that was one thing we were targeting in physical therapy before winter break, before I went to Paris. But the body's feeling good, knock on wood. So we're just gonna keep rolling with it. I go to Arizona in a few weeks to train with Hoka. You guys will come along, of course. training with the other people that are running the Big Sur in this partnership with Hoka, and I haven't met anyone yet, so that'll be really exciting. I'll get to meet my coach Ben, who is writing all my running plans. I've only met him over Zoom, so that'll be a very fun thing to look forward to. Excited to get some sun, some vitamin D, some serotonin. But I'm gonna go head out on my run in New York City, 12 miles. I will meet you guys back here, and we'll have a fun rest of our Saturday. I think that run might have been the best that I've ever felt on a run in my entire life. I have never felt so strong, so positive, so happy. Like when I was in the hard parts of the run, I knew that I was gonna make it through. I just kept telling myself, keep your head down, you've been here before. This is what's here for you. This is what you're supposed to be doing. You're in the right moment. You've got all your shit figured out. You know, you finally gain muscle, eating more, sleeping more, recovering, resting. Like, stop stressing about being so fucking perfect. And it's finally coming together. I did 12 miles at a super fast pace for me. I'm very happy about it. And I feel so inspired to just get better as a runner. There were a lot of moments in that run where I was like, we're gonna do something fun for our fall marathon. We're gonna PR. We're gonna keep our eyes on races in the future. We're gonna get faster. I'm not scared. I think just getting rid of fear is something that I've really stepped into. I'm so fucking excited about that run. That was week 8. We crushed it at the end. I'm gonna make some breakfast. I'm gonna read the book for the rest of the day, and I'll talk to you guys in a little bit. It's a Monday morning. I think this might be my worst vlog. Not worst vlog, but least amount that I've filmed. Here's a little cue on insider baseball into content creation. If my personal life is going well, I probably am not sitting on my phone taking that many videos. That's enough. That's enough for you guys. But I'm gonna FaceTime my mom. I have an 8-mile run today. Gonna finish up the book, get my life together. There's a lot of administrative stuff that I have to do. After my dad passed, obviously like insurance companies, all that shit I have to do. And I'm also turning 26 this year. So I'm gonna be kicked off my mom's health insurance, and I'm a freelancer. So this week has just been crazy. These are kind of falling off my face. But we're gonna FaceTime mom as we do, and then we'll run later this afternoon. Hi everyone, welcome back to YouTube. We're gonna talk about the book that I read for this video. It's a Tuesday, so technically it's week 9 of Big Sur Marathon training. I'm going to get my passport photo taken. It's kind of laughable. My old passport photo was probably taken when I was 17 and my passport expires in June. But just using that photo when I was crossing the border to get back to the US from Paris, I'm like, this looks nothing like me. I feel like this is identity fraud. Like you should have to get your passport updated more regularly. But anywho, so this book is about technology. It's about how it's changed in the past 100 years, but it really focuses on the past 20 years or so with the invention of the smartphone, social media platforms, how that's changed how we interact with time. One example of this the author talks about a lot is like when we turn on the news, you are put into the middle of the storyline. You don't get to start at the beginning and learn about the characters. Let's say you flipped on CNN and it was about like the Palestine conflict right now. You are in the middle of the conflict without any sort of proper historical knowledge. And so that changes how we interact. It talks about algorithms. It talks about what social media companies are doing with data and data privacy. Not something that's only about technology. It does talk about politics. It talks about stock market. It talks a little bit about neoliberalism and how our economic models are just predicting future so much that we don't focus on what the current state of the world is. It talks about the flaws of venture capital, private equity, hedge funds, which I always love to shit on, and how those things are ruining America. That I've read a long time ago, this kind of reminds me of, is called Amusing Ourselves to Death by Neil Postman. It's a very infamous book talking about social media, and he sort of predicts what's gonna happen with it and how it's going to change our attention span. Neil Postman in that book talks about how the news and cable news, 24-hour news, are going to change our attention span and how we relate to information. I find the book interesting because it talks about power, and it talks about power structures and why the media is the way it is. Like, why do we have a 24 hours news cycle? Ratings, and we wanna sell things. Why do politicians interact with people in certain ways? I found the book to talk about like every aspect of society and gave me a lot of groundwork about how new technology has really impacted how we live, how we view time, how we relate to one another, how we communicate with one another, what our goals are. And so I highly recommend that anyone picks up this book. I found it to be fascinating, and I think if you're someone that's scrolling on social media platforms, maybe you work in social media, maybe you don't, anyone who is living now could relate to this book, so I highly recommend you guys check it out. That being said, we are getting ready for week 9 of marathon training. The marathon's in April, so we still have some more books to read together here. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'm gonna go get my passport photo taken. Hopefully it looks good, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye.